Disclaimer: seeing as the only current system I own at the moment is a Switch, this list will prominently feature upcoming Nintendo titles, so I do apologise if you were expecting more variety. Hey, how's it going everybody? I hope you're all good. This is Peter Gargan speaking, and for this video, I will be talking about my most anticipated games for next year. I thought I'd do this as 2022 in particular has a lot that I'm looking forward to, and haven't really felt this way since 2017 and, to an extent, 2019, and I just wanted to talk about it all. So, without further ado, let's get into this. I thought I'd start off with what inspired me to do this video in the first place, and that was the recent trailer for the next big Sonic game that was dropped at the Game Awards, which will be called Sonic Frontiers. The Speedy Hedgehog's next adventure seems to be taking an open world approach this time round, which is a series first, and depending on its execution and if Sega and Sonic Team are making sure they take their time with this one, Frontiers has the potential to take Sonic into a new direction due to its sheer ambition. If the overworld is designed in a way that complements Sonic's speed and moveset, which admittedly sounds very challenging to pull off, then we're guaranteed to be in for a good time. The Sonic series has always been an area of debate in terms of whether the games have been of a consistent quality over the years, and I'm curious to see how Frontiers turns out. Speaking of taking long-running franchises into new directions, we also have Kirby and the Forgotten Land. For the past few years, I felt that our beloved gluttonous Marshmallow has plateaued in terms of where his series can go, because despite this past decade producing games of a consistently decent quality, I couldn't help but feel like they all blended together due to being aesthetically and mechanically similar, and I was concerned the Kirby series was beginning to stagnate as a result. However, the most recent Nintendo Direct gave us a trailer for a brand new 3D platformer starring the Pink Puffball, and my fears have officially subsided. I've always wanted to see how Kirby would get adapted to the third dimension, and while this idea has been experimented on every now and then in the past, Forgotten Land looks like it will be the first time that HAL Laboratory are fully going in on the whole concept, hopefully paving the way for more adventures like this to come. If you have wanted Nintendo to announce a sequel or follow-up to Super Mario Odyssey, Kirby and the Forgotten Land could very well satisfy that itch. If it manages to deliver on that game's level of 3D platforming goodness, then Epic Yarn could very well be surpassed in terms of my favourite title from the Kirby series. Pokemon has had an interesting presence on the Switch, to put it lightly. Sword and Shield have faced many controversies, and there are mixed opinions on whether Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl should be considered worthy remakes of the 4th generation. Besides new Pokemon Snap, which I still need to get round to playing at some point, the only other Pokemon related Switch release that is grabbing my interest at the moment is Pokemon Legends Arceus, a prequel story set in ancient times when the Sinnoh region was originally called Hisui, I hope I'm saying that right. Although it has been stated that it's not fully open world, it still seems like an ambitious shake-up of the formula that we've grown familiar with for the past 2.5 decades, even despite the shaky frame rate that I've seen in some of the early trailers, and the visuals still leaving a lot to be desired. For now, I'm keeping my eye on this one, as it could very well be the first Pokemon game that I'll try after taking a break from the series back when I beat Ultra Moon in 2017. This next entry is one that I've already covered on this channel, but I'll still fill in for anyone that hasn't watched my video dedicated to the subject. Sea of Stars is the latest game from Sabotage Studio, who are best known for their work on The Messenger, and is setting out to be a love letter to the 16-bit RPGs that are regarded as classics in the greater history of gaming, with influences taken from the likes of Chrono Trigger, Super Mario RPG, and Illusion of Gaia, combined with having its own identity as a prequel story set in the same universe as The Messenger. I love the attention to detail and the heart and soul put into it so far, and can tell this will be a special occasion in the indie scene, so be sure to keep your eye on it going forward, especially now that it has been recently confirmed to be coming to the Switch, and I think it's safe to say that it will come to the other consoles alongside it. This might be a controversial placement, especially considering how this channel mostly covers the Nintendo end of the spectrum, but at the moment, the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild isn't my top choice for most anticipated. With that being said, that doesn't mean I'm not looking forward to it any less, it's just that at the time of writing this script, we still haven't seen all that much 2.5 years after its initial announcement, but the new ideas that have been presented at E3 2021 do show a promising glimpse of what's to come. Diving through solid matter and what looks like an upgrade to the stasis rune where you can rewind time for specific objects are some interesting ideas, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else is in store as we get closer to the next big Zelda adventure, the release of which is always going to be a special occasion in the Nintendo community, and I'm sure I'll be with everyone else on the hype train as we hear further details. Before we talk about my top choice, let's just quickly go over some of the honourable mentions. Splatoon 3. It's not exactly a priority for me personally, as I got Splatoon 2 as a Christmas gift for 2020 only just, and I haven't really had much of a chance to sit down and play it after all this time, so it's likely due to my personal circumstances that I'll be giving this new one a pass. But I'm sure there's a lot of excitement for those that want to see what's next for the Squid Kids, so I wanted to acknowledge its existence, as I know it's a top choice for many fans. Triangle Strategy. I enjoyed my time with the demo of this tactical RPG from the Octopath Traveler team. Depending on if it continues to wow me and if I can find the time between Sea of Stars and Zelda, I might be able to squeeze it in somehow. If I've missed anything, chances are I forgot about it, or it just didn't grab my interest enough to really have much to say about it. With that out of the way, it's time to talk about the game slated for 2022 that excites me more than any other. The September 2021 Nintendo Direct gave us the first proper look at a game that I had not only been waiting to hear more about ever since its first announcement in the Game Awards in 2017, but also begging for its existence back when the Switch was only known as the NX. If you haven't guessed by now, I am of course talking about Bayonetta 3. The formidable Umbra Witch is finally back with a third outing that I have been eagerly anticipating news on for almost 4 years, and it's been an even longer wait when you consider Bayonetta 2's initial release in 2014. I'm feeling pretty confident that the 8-year gap will be more than worthwhile, as Nintendo and Platinum Games continue their heavenly relationship in style after the also stellar Astral Chain in 2019. From the looks of it, there seems to be a new threat this time round, and speculation has gone through the roof as to whether we're even controlling the Bayonetta we're all familiar with, especially considering how the series has a knack for having all sorts of time travel shenanigans and chaos. And just who is that mysterious character at the end of the most recent trailer? I want to know all the answers. It's also looking like the demons she has summoned in past games are now being given more room to wreak havoc and be controlled alongside Bayo herself, which appears to have been a concept from Platinum's cancelled Xbox title Scalebound being reworked into something new, so it's nice to see these sorts of things being salvaged and not being completely scrapped and going to waste. There's so much potential for Bayonetta 3 to crack my top 3 in terms of favourite Switch games due to how highly I regard Bayonetta 2 as one of my all-time favourite games in general, and it's the main reason why 2022 is currently the most excited I've been for the Switch in so long, even more so than the Breath of the Wild sequel. Anyway, those were my most anticipated 2022 releases. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know which games you're looking forward to next year. I'd love to hear what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see you later.